Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome to your English class. In our lesson today, we will continue with our third unit, which is titled, You've Got Mail. Our lesson today is the second part from the writing lesson in your books, page 40 and 41. All you need for the lesson today is your books on page 40 and 41, a sheet of paper and a pen to take down your notes. So let's get started. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to identify the components of an email, and as well as you will be able to write an email to a friend. So let's get started with this. As a reminder for what we have taken yesterday in the previous lesson, it was about how to write an email. You will start with the greetings. You will start with saying hi or hello, depending on who you are speaking to. Then we will having the opening words or lines. You will start with your greetings. This is an email to tell you this or that. How are you? Then the reason for writing the email. This is the body part, which is the content of the email, followed by the closing words or lines. And by the end, you have to sign it with your name. So you will add your name by the end, based on whether it is a formal or informal letter. And we have applied this one on Brian and Adil's email, the email that was written from Adil to his friend Brian. Now what I wanted to do is to come up with this information, like the greeting, the opening words, the body of the email, the closing words, and the signature within this email. You will find it in your books on page 41. Listen and try to find these topics. Let's listen together.
2. Brian at megagoal.com. Subject: Back to school. Attachment: 200.jpg. Hi Brian, how are you doing? Did you have a good summer? How's school? I guess you've just started again, right? Well, that's life. I am attaching a photo of us at the game. How do you like it? We look good, huh? This is our first week back and everyone is trying to get used to getting up early. Spending most of the day at school, then home, homework, etc. But we have some great plans for the weekend. We'll drive to the desert with my cousins and spend the night there. I wish you could come along. It would be so much fun. Guess what? My father promised to let me drive the Jeep in the desert. Isn't that cool? What about you? Any special plans for the weekend? Don't forget, it's your turn next summer. You are going to come to Saudi Arabia and stay with us. I'd better not talk about the summer now. Time to get organized and get down to homework. Give my best to your family. Adil. P.S. My teacher complimented me on my English. I told him I had spent 2 months practicing with my friend.
Okay, so for this email, we will start with the greetings. What was the greeting from Adil to Brian? It was, hi Brian, more like informal. Then we're having the opening words after the greeting. He said, how are you doing? Did you have a good summer? And how was school? Notice the short forms, more friendly talk, just like as if he is speaking. Then we're having the closing lines or words. He said, give my best to your family. So more like related to each other. And by the end, the signature, he wrote his name, which is Adil. Not the full name, just his first name. So when you are writing an email, the things that you have to consider is your audience. Who are you writing to? Are you writing to your teacher, to your parents, or to a friend? So this one is going to make a difference between both emails. So if it is to a friend, your greeting is going to be like, you can say hi, You can say hello. You can say dear Adil, dear Brian with the first name, not the family name or the last name. Just use his or her first name. Then the signature should be like best. Take care and write your first name. Like best regards, best wishes. You can say take care and you will sign with your own first name. The style that we are going to use in an informal or an email to a friend, it is something that is very similar to speaking. We're having contracted forms. I'd rather, not I would, I'd rather. Also, you can use the emoticons, which are like the little pictures, like the emojis. And you can use the abbreviations. So it is more like texting rather than an email. However, if you are writing to a professional contact, someone you don't know very well, someone who's having a long distance between you, so it depends on the relation. Could be a teacher, could be you are contacting a seller or someone. So your greeting could be something like, dear sir, dear Mr. or Mrs., with his or her family name. This time you're not using the first name, you will use the family name. The signature by the very end, you will use kind regards, best regards, sincerely. You have to be much more formal. Then the style will be more no contracted forms, no abbreviations. I will, not I'll. I would, not I'd. No emojis, emoticons, or these things. Okay? Now we're going to visit this one, which is an email that is written between two friends, and certain things are going to be corrected. Let's read it together, and the formal will be changed into informal. So at the beginning she said, dear Mrs. Olivia. Where is the wrong thing that we've done in here? You can't say Mrs. to your friend, so it will be dear Olivia itself. This is to inform you that I will be in Paris next month and I would like to stay with you. Something wrong in here? It should be, this is to inform you. This is much more like formal to a teacher or to a business contact. So we can say here, guess what? I will be in Paris next month and I would like. How can we change I would like into I'd like, shorter. Next, how was work? How was everything? I have missed you and I wish we were closer. Anyway, I hope you will be in Paris when I come over. I also hope that you won't be too busy with your work. Here notice the short form won't, with your work, so we can spend some time together. Let's try to check this one. And here we can put a comma and so small s, whether a full stop capital S or let's say a comma and a small s. I would very much like to update you on developments at home. So here we will use I'd, not I would. Best regards, this is much more formal. Let's use something that is less formal. Best wishes. Then we're having Melanie. She will write her first name. So formal is different than the informal ones. Now in your books, page 41, this exercise, you want to write an email to a friend. So informal one. Decide who you are going to write to and what are you going to write about. Think about any one of your friends. What is the thing, the body or the core, the main idea that you are writing for? It could be asking for a favor, but I have chosen to write about a graduation invitation. I am throwing a graduation party and I want my friends to come. I am sending them an email for invitation. Next in here, the writing process, just a reminder for you. At the beginning is the idea of planning. The question had planned it for you. We're going to write an email, informal one, and it is actually about inviting a friend. Next, we will go to the drafting part. we are going to collect and gather all ideas into one place, regardless of the correctness. Any idea is going to be included. Brainstorm ideas. Then we will go to the editing. Now we will edit, take out and add more. Then we will go to the revision part, in which we will check grammar, spelling, and the final revision. And by the end, we will go to the publishing, which is you are finalizing, and you will say, this is the thing, or this is the email I am about to send. So, question number 3 on page 41, complete the chart with your notes. Let's read the questions. In your email, you have to include your greetings, my opening words, the reason for the writing, my closing words, and attachment. So think about anything that you can add an attachment for. So I will start with the greeting, something that is more like informal. Maybe I will say, hi Huda. I will send it to my friend Huda. Opening words, maybe I will choose something, how are you? I miss you. Reasons for writing, why am I writing this email? I am writing to remind you of my graduation party next week. So this is the main reason for writing the email. Next, my closing words. By the end I will say, see you soon, and I will sign with the name for summer. We're writing it for summer. Attachment, invitation card. I will attach or add my invitation card. Think about any invitation or any occasion that you will add something to the email. Let's start with it one by one. At the beginning, I will start with the greeting and the opening lines. Then I will go to the second step, which is the email content. The email content, which is inviting my friend to my graduation party. Then I will end it up with the last part, which is the closing line and the signature. Let's get started with these one step at a time. At the beginning is the greeting and the opening lines. How would you greet your friend? As we have said, I will say, hi Huda, how are you? I miss you and I miss our old days. We're still gathering information. Notice how I have written this one. Started with hi Huda, then ended up with a comma. Here I am having a question mark because it is a question, and ended the sentence with a full stop. However, we can do this one by the very end, which is the final revision. Then we will go to the second part, the email content. And this is the most important part within your email. You're writing what you want to say in your email. So in here I will say, I am writing to remind you of my graduation party next week. So, to the point. It is going to be next Thursday, 5 to 10 at my house. So this is the main idea. Come to my party. It's next Thursday, my house, 5 to 10. How am I going to end it up? I will then end it up with a closing line and the signature. I could say in here, see you then, and sign your name, Summer. Okay? Now let's change these. Now we will start with the writing process. We have gathered ideas. Now we can elaborate. What do we mean by elaboration? We will add more sentences, more short forms, more emoticons or emojis. So let's follow these rules. At the beginning, you have to mind your ideas. Write everything that is related. Never come with any other ideas that are not related. Let's say the following is the idea of paragraphs. Each one paragraph, or let's say one sentence, should be about one idea. Do not confuse ideas together. So we will have an organized paragraph or passage. Followed by the grammar. You are writing about my party is going to be. It should be in the future. You will tell your friend about the old days, so it will be in the past. Mind the grammar. Followed by spelling. Make sure that you are writing the correct spelling. And capitalization. Always make sure that you are writing names in capitals. And also the punctuations, which are the question marks, full stops, and we're having the commas. Let's go back to Summer's email to Huda. Here we will start with the first one. She would say, hi Huda, how are you? And how is your family doing? I miss you and miss our old days together. Here we will having our old days together, and we're having here a little heart because it is an informal email. Let's notice in here, she started her email with we're having here a comma, then we're having a question mark, another question mark for the question, and we start with capital letters. Notice, let's correct this one into R, and we're having the emojicons in here. Okay, the following idea, which is the content of the email. Next, I am writing to remind you of my graduation party next week. I have told you about it weeks ago. It's going to be next Thursday, 5 to 10 at my house. I have been planning for this for ages, and you promised you will come. Hope you will be available then. Find the attached invitation card and the location for further information. What have she started with? Always capital I, ended up with a full stop. Notice the short form, I've, because it is more like informal. And here, start with a capital I for it. Also, we're having capital T, Thursday. Notice 5 to 10 in here. My house, I have, more like informal. And we're having commas and adding the idea about the attachment. Find the invitation for the location and other things. She said everything that is supposed to be said. Next, here we're having the closing lines. She will say, please send my best to your mom. See you then, and signed her name, Summer. Here, notice that please send my best to your mom. This is more like informal. Between friends, they will ask about family members. See you then, and a comma in here, and you will sign with your first name. You will sign it with your first name. Okay, so as you have noticed, this is more like an informal email. So you can notice that it is a long one because things between friends are more like speaking. We're having asking about family, send my thanks, or please send my best to your mom, and asking about family, asking about school. So it is more like speaking, different topics, and so that's why it will be much more longer than a formal one. How about if we want to change this one into a formal email? Let's go to revisit the idea of writing a formal email. If you are writing to a business or a professional contact, let's try to name some of them. So maybe if you are writing to a store for returning an item, or if you are contacting the school principal, you are contacting maybe your teacher. These are much more like more like formal. You don't have friendly relationship with them. So how would you write it? It will be more like formal manner. How would it be? You will begin with dear sir, dear madam, dear Mr. or Mrs. with the last name. Notice here, this is one very important difference between them. You will use the last name. Then you will end it up, the signature. You will write kind regards, best regards, sincerely. It is more like formal. Use your last name, and their last name. Also, never use short forms like I'd rather, I would rather. No abbreviations like CU. No, we will say a whole C, a whole U. Okay, now we will start with the greeting or opening lines, just like the same order. Then we will go to the email content and ended up with the closing lines or the signature. Let's get into here. At the beginning, the greeting or the opening lines, it will be, Dear Mr. Saleh, hope this email finds you well. Here, I am contacting Mr. Saleh, and the opening line, hope this email finds you well. Email content, I want to tell my teacher, I apologize for not attending the test today. I wasn't feeling well all day yesterday. This is the content. Maybe I would add more things later on. Then the closing line and my signature, I would say, best regards, Ahmed Ali, class 2. Okay, so these they are. Let's go into, now we will write it down. We brainstormed ideas. Now we will start writing our own ideas. I will start with Dear Mr. Saleh. Hope this email finds you well. Notice at the end I am having a full stop. Start with capital letter, and after the opening line we will have Saleh with a comma. Now the content, which is going to be the longest part. Please accept my apology for not attending the quiz today. I wasn't feeling well all day yesterday, and the doctor recommended that I stay in bed for a few days. Attached is my sick leave. Notice the whole idea is in one paragraph, or in 3 to 4 sentences, shorter than the other one. You're not asking about family or friends. I am apologizing, saying sorry for not being sitting for the test today, as well as because I was sick, and here is my sick leave. Ended up with best regards, Ahmed Ali, class 2. Best regards is much more formal than, let's say, best wishes, much more formal than take care. Then write your full name, Ahmed Ali. And usually it will be always a good idea if you are contacting your teacher to write which class you are in, so you will be very specific to avoid confusion. So you notice if we are going to compare it with the other one, the informal one, this one is much more shorter because it is formal. You have to be very precise, focused, and tell what you want to tell without any elaboration. Okay, for your homework, I want you to check your books on page 104. Page 104 in your books, exercise N. In there, you are supposed to write a paragraph about how to communicate with different kind of people. Friends, relatives, teachers, and we're having business contact. And things that we have already discussed together in this lesson, you will be using while you are writing the paragraph in exercise N. Okay, I guess that is it for the lesson today, and thank you so much for your time.